Welcome back to the newsroom. Time for top story here on France 24, and I'm joined for that by Catherine Norris-Trent from our International Affairs Desk. Hi there, Catherine.
Good morning.
We're going to be talking about Syria. Iran has sent a senior diplomat to Damascus, as we've been talking about in our news bulletins. Saeed Jalili, the Iranian National Security Advisor, meeting with President Bashar al-Assad. Iran has reiterated its support for the Syrian government and also pledged to work for the liberation of more than 40 Iranian citizens that it says are simply pilgrims. They're being held by a faction of the Free Syrian Army. Now, the manoeuvrings in Syria by Iran are the subject of today's top story segment. And Catherine, first question really. Iran is pretty much the only regional ally that Syria has left. And Tehran has very much underscored its support for the Syrian government here, hasn't it?
Yes, and in quite a major way if you look into the diplomacy of this. This was the highest level Iranian official that Iran has sent to Damascus since the uprising began. It was Saeed Jalili, the National Security Advisor in Iran, a powerful man who is involved in negotiating Iran's nuclear situation with the international community. So a high-up figure. And he was shown on Syrian state television. They showed pictures, they said, of him meeting with Bashar al-Assad in Damascus, in the presidential palace. And they also reported bits of that conversation. So according to the state TV reports, Saeed Jalili, the Iranian envoy, pledged that Iran would not allow anything to break the axis of resistance which Syria forms a fundamental element, so strong language there. But interestingly, also in this meeting, this was widened out formally by the Iranians into a larger international context. So there's been a lot of talk for a long time about a proxy war, about Syria's neighbours and parts of the international community really going head-to-head in what's happening in Syria. Well, Iran, again, according to those state TV reports and Iranian state media too, framing it in these terms, so as the international community meddling in Syria and warning the United States in particular, but also other Sunni states in the region to stay out of Assad's affairs, to stay out of Syria. So upping the ante there in terms of it's them against us and this regional access.
Jalili wasn't just in town to talk about that, though, was he? There's also this question of these Iranian hostages, prisoners being held by the Syrian Free Army.
Right. Jalili said that he is going to ensure that they are released, free. Don't quite know if he's got the means to do that at this stage, but this is these 48 men there were, we believe, Iranians captured on Saturday near Damascus by rebel fighters. Now, 3 of those, we believe, have been killed in shelling. That's what the rebels say, and they say they're going to kill the rest of them unless Iran meets its demands. And they say Iran has been supplying fighters to Syria to fight for the regime. Iran says that these hostages are religious pilgrims who were on their way back from visiting a shrine when they were captured. They're civilians and that they must be released. And they say they're holding the United States directly responsible for the fate of these men because the US, they say, has a lot of sway over rebel factions. So a real standoff there. Some observers, though, saying already that Iran wouldn't be making such a fuss about this unless these hostages were important. Now, the rumour circulating among rebels is that these men are members of Iran's Revolutionary Guards who were there on a reconnaissance mission to do with sending weapons into Syria. Very difficult to verify. The rebels have filmed them apparently showing their military ID, which they say proves that they are members of the Revolutionary Guards. But a lot of people have to do, all young men have to do military service in Iran, so perhaps that could be construed differently.
OK, well, a real flurry of diplomatic activity then from Tehran. They've really ratcheted up their involvement.
That's right, yeah. The Iranian foreign minister has been in Turkey. They're also sending a vice president to Cairo to invite the new Egyptian president, Mohamed Morsi, to come for talks in Tehran. They're going to be holding talks tomorrow, if it's on schedule, Thursday, with lots of different nations around Syria. And then we also understand Ahmadinejad has been invited to Saudi Arabia, which would be interesting talks there. Those two countries very much opposed on the Syria issue. Iran's hand has been forced on the Syria issue because of the failure of the UN diplomacy here. So they've put all their eggs in one basket. They feel they've got to act on supporting Syria.
OK, Iran very decisively coming in as a new player in the Syria issue then. Thanks very much, Catherine Norris-Trent from our International Affairs Desk there, telling us about Iran and Syria and the ongoing diplomatic efforts there.